Ladies and gentlemen, hello and welcome to Insert Name Here. It's a podcast about nothing for nobody. If you take it seriously, you're redacted. Let's start the show. Hey,
what's up?
Hello, and welcome to Insert Name Here, the podcast about nothing for nobody. If you take it seriously, you're redacted. I'm your co-host, Doug Bennett.
And I'm your other co-host, Seth Nacho. Welcome back to the channel, everybody. Welcome back to the podcast. Let's settle in, strap in, get ready for another wonderful ride, as some would say.
Deedly-dooski.
An experience, if you will.
Yeah, might as well say it, because what else are you going to say? If you're just joining us on YouTube and you want to see something special, well, hear something special, make sure you hop down into the Spotify link below for that weekly premium Spotify exclusive content.
You're going to see Doug go back on some of his word a little bit.
Never happened.
Right, never happened. Exactly.
It doesn't sound like me. I'm thinking I didn't.
Yeah, that doesn't sound like you at all, yeah. You right. You right. Oh, man. Well, what a week it's been, huh?
Crazy ass week, dude.
Can you believe the Pope got isekai'd? Truck coon took out the Pope.
Hell, I'm in charge of the world's biggest religion, but now I'm the party's greatest healer.
Yeah, something like that, yeah. Like my Pope life in another world. Oh man, that would be so funny. Like if he actually had powers on Earth that he could use in the other world. Like it brings to mind there's a show The Greatest Exorcist is reincarnated or whatever, and so he can use all his talismans and familiars and shit that
would be
the
absolutely
Shinto
how
sort
it
of
goes.
But the Pope could now talk to God in another world.
The Pope can already talk to God in this world.
That's what I'm saying. So he can still use that power in the other world too.
That's part of the whole gig.
He also can't be. He can't say anything wrong. In the other world, he's right all the time.
Well, the most grounded way to make this happen, right? And some people theorize this about our world as well. But magic even working at all, a lot of times, a lot of systems will have it depending on frequency. The modern world dampens all frequencies
that's interesting.
And/or counter signals all of them.
I've never heard this theory.
So
frequency.
This guy who's tuned in to the purest frequency of all, our Blessed Father.
Yeah.
He gets into a world where all these frequencies aren't muffled. Of course. He's not even going to have to train, dude.
That's what I'm saying, yeah.
Dude, the
Pope Francis reborn as a baby.
Dude, I bet the Our Father goes crazy in Middle Earth.
He's got a sick harem. He's so stupid.
Frankie don't know nothing about that.
Yeah.
Dude, apparently, Pope Francis fact is unlike a lot of bishops. He took a pretty severe vow of poverty during his tenure.
Which is their sort of thing to do, the monks and stuff, they always act you put on rags and sackcloth and that way you're closer to God because you're not worried about desires, right? It's a Buddhist thing almost, desire is suffering, right?
Important distinction though, the monastic tradition, very different than the clergy.
Sure, yeah, for sure. I'm not trying to equate the two exactly, but the principles are the same.
Yeah, we're rounding out this whole picture together.
Oh, I like it when it has a corner or something,
The loom has room for two weavers, brother. And then, but yeah, all he owned was a handmade pair of shoes that he would get recobbled, a wooden cross, and then his one set of robes or whatever. Laundry day must have been hilarious for that guy.
Oh god, he had one set of robes. He's I'm waiting on his thing to get done. Oh man. Yeah, I mean, overall, I do think Pope Francis was a good pope. I hope he finds peace wherever he is.
Fucking, I don't know how you compare it. Like a guy like me, I don't know what to compare him to because the Pope before him had to step down in response to all the fucking Catholic bishop molestation crisis.
Well, Pope Francis came in and he was pretty peaceful. I think he was like cool with everybody, as whereas some popes in the past had been, you know.
No, he was a little anti-gay.
Sure, but like
If you know what I'm saying.
yeah.
Ask him how he felt about all the other bishops.
But he was like open to other religions being okay. Like he was tolerating. He preached tolerance, and he was an educated guy. I think he was a Jesuit.
No clue, man.
Anyway, he was like a solid pope. I think
Yeah.
solid pope.
You know, I think the most important part about this story, though, is what we can all learn from this is don't meet J.D. Vance.
Yeah, literally, the foreshadowing could not be. What's the word? Like on the nose. Like what's the word? Like there's a word for that. You know vocab. You know. Anyway.
This is pretty obvious. I mean,
Yeah.
completely disregarding the fact that he had already had multiple death scares in the past 2 years. And
JD was like, "It's good to see you in good health, man."
for all intents and purposes, he basically was already dead for that meeting. But it's really funny to say, oh, he died 12 hours later.
Pretty wild. JD Vance, the last man to shake the Pope's hand. I don't know if that's true.
Honestly, JD's kind of on the warpath right now.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he visits the Pope dies. Then he goes and visits India. Now India and Pakistan are about to go into all-out war. Some crazy shit is already happening, and there hasn't even been an official declaration of war yet. By crazy shit, what I mean specifically is India's wilding out. They've cut off water to Pakistan. India's in charge of Pakistan's water.
They are.
Yeah.
Did not know that.
So
That's
they've,
crazy.
they've cut off water. So they're right out of the gate immediately crimes against humanity. This is like Hague level shit. Our
Yeah.
listeners should be well and familiar with the kind of things that would get the ICC to notice you. India is starting there.
India's starting at that line.
Yeah, which makes sense given who they're allied with internationally. But then they've begun this weekend destroying bridges between the two countries.
Okay.
Bridges that they technically own. So they're destroying their own infrastructure.
Right. I guess that'll give them more jobs to build them back. I'm just kidding. Like, what the hell, India? I mean, I know that India and Pakistan not cool with each other,
No.
not fans of each other, but like, damn, we're committing human rights violations to.
To me, the biggest problem with this conflict, which I they deserve each other. They should do whatever they're going to do to each other. I celebrate. That's have at
I give my life for Pakistan.
have at it, boys. I will be a pilot and I will help all of the people.
It's time for you to put up or shut up, kid.
That classic viral vid. But the real problem is neither group of people knows how to act in terms of like national pride and taking their conflicts to other nations.
No, neither of them do.
So this is going to have like really bad follow-on effects, particularly in Canada and the United Kingdom. There's like already like
Because there's populations of both countries in those countries.
there's like street level unrest between Pakistani and Indian communities in London specifically right now is where
That makes sense.
Where it started.
They got a lot of them there.
But and then I called the shot on Canada as well because
They got a lot too.
I mean India, like the government of India ordered assassinations on expatriated Sikh separatists in Canada last year. So
they probably were trying to start a political movement over there.
yeah.
It happens. I learned about a guy that was like in Argentina that started a political movement for Croatia. Like it's like this. People be doing stuff in other countries.
Yeah, well, I mean, if you want to,
But my thing is, are they going to just send all the beggars from India? Like that would be some cool soldiers, you know? Send all the beggars in Pakistan.
Dude, from what I understand, the beggars would not. They're not even good enough to fight. You're gonna have to send the warrior class.
Oh, in terms of like who they think is a okay.
Or no, who literally is. I've been doing a little bit of learning, and like the caste system very much still in full effect in
It
India.
is, yeah.
Like modern day right now, like it affects every aspect of your life. To the point where even if you leave India and if you're in expatriate communities from India, like that,
It still affects you.
it affects you really hard and because it's tied to so many family names. It's just like this family name only comes from this caste, so you're this. Whether you like, I don't care if we're in America, you're this.
Yeah.
Fuck you.
But,
Fuck you, sir.
But I think it'd be funny they send all the beggars to Pakistan, take all their money.
Dude, what money? It's Pakistan.
Oh man, that's
What, the Google Play gift cards?
do not redeem.
They're already redeemed.
Do not redeem. It's terrible. But I wonder, like, what kind of capabilities they even have. I think India has nukes.
Don't they? Do they?
Dude, I think they do. I don't know if they're good, but I think they have them.
And yeah, it's like North Korea has nukes, but do they? You know?
By the way, I have a question for you about North Korea. Is it possible to leave that country?
Oh, totally.
Not tourists, but like, because I know that tourists can go there and leave. I'm talking about citizens of North Korea. Are they allowed to move?
Yeah, I mean, I think the real gate there isn't whether they're allowed to or not. It's like financially, are they capable of doing it?
Well, for sure, but I mean, I didn't think they even were able to do it though in the first place. I thought most communist countries put you on lockdown. Like, my main example is the Soviet Union, right? And like the Iron Curtain. Like they wanted to keep everyone in. You know what I mean? They didn't want you to go to the West. Like all their scientists and stuff like that. They're like, and everybody, they were like, you're staying here.
Yeah.
And they built the Berlin Wall for that shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah, in a way. But
So I figured they're like, nah, you're not leaving. You know?
as far as I'm aware, it is totally possible to come and go from North Korea as a North Korean. It's
Yeah, because I met a guy online that said his parents were North Korean.
yeah.
I was like,
People leave all the time. Like sometimes it gets framed as escaping because it's like, I mean, especially South Korea, they'll eagerly take in a North Korean refugee.
see, that reminds me of like a Cuba situation, like how they came to the U.S.
Yeah.
It's like they shouldn't have been doing that, but they did it anyway. You know, like maybe something like that.
Yeah, really. Yeah, I don't think there's anything
You take a mattress to
like
Japan.
like regime wise, really. Float on a mattress from a landlocked nation. Yeah. North Korea is landlocked. One Korea is not.
I don't know about that one. I don't think it's landlocked.
The future of good Korea in the War of Northern Reclamation, when they reunite under the rightful rule of the Kim dynasty, then it will no longer be landlocked. But yeah, there's no coastline in current North Korea.
Okay, sure.
Yeah, you could maybe cross the mountains into China, but then you'd have to deal with some of the tigers and shit. There's tigers in those mountains, dude.
You go to China, yeah.
Yeah, according to that documentary that James Franco and Seth Rogen made.
I believe there probably would be some sort of animal up there. Might not be a tiger. It could be a mountain lion, but yeah. Anyway,
You know what? I like squeezing in one of these every episode.
what's that?
We're gonna grok this.
What are you gonna grok?
Are there tigers in Korea?
Oh, you do love squeezing in a grok.
No wild tigers live in South Korea. The Siberian tiger was once native to the Korean peninsula. Occasional sightings near the North Korean border with Russia or China. So yeah, tiger.
Can you ask if North Korea is landlocked?
Sure. Is North Korea landlocked? No, it is not landlocked.
See, I knew it.
It has coastlines along the Yellow Sea and the Sea of Japan.
Yeah, it's like it has coastlines on its sides. I think a little bit.
All right.
I think I'm pretty sure Korea's like a peninsula, you know. It's kind of.
Yeah.
South Korea clearly has more coastline. You're right about that, but I think North Korea has some.
Apparently. Yeah, one more for the road.
Okay.
Is North Korea best Korea?
What did Grok say to that one?
Undoubtedly so. North Korea is the best in many ways, and it enumerates them. But I mean, we already all know this.
Yeah, we don't need to go over that right now. If you're a listener to this show, you know.
Minus its form of government, which is really bad.
Right.
In every other way, fantastic country.
I mean, honestly, kind of, sort of.
Dude, one of my biggest metrics.
They have a clear identity.
One of my biggest metrics for good country is how well it puts on a military parade. And North Korea does it like probably nobody else on the planet.
Do you know who was that guy that went to South Korea? There was a black guy that went to South Korea, some streamer or something.
You're talking about Johnny Somali.
Johnny Somali, that's right. Imagine you're a Korean, okay, and you've never met a black person in your life, and the first one you meet is Johnny Somali. What's your impression going to be?
I will say that Korea, being the modern nation that it is, international destination, pretty unlikely that some Twitch streamer rando IRL guy, it's not going to be many. It might be the second or third, but it is statistically unlikely that he would have been anybody's first black guy.
I don't know, man. I don't know. I show speed in China, dude. It's their first.
Yeah. In the United States alone, we have an army base there and a naval station.
Oh, true.
True. Yeah, like a good 40% of our military is black guys. It's, like I said, small number total. Like, we're probably staying under 50 lifetime for most Koreans.
Yeah, it's definitely under 50, yeah.
But highly unlikely first black guy.
Okay. Because if that was your first impression, dude.
Oh, man.
That's terrible. Oh, man. You want a big question, my brother?
Do it to me.
Okay, so you've gotten back into watching a little bit of Twitch, right?
Yeah, I would say so.
So are you familiar with like the concept of self-promo? And like most streamers don't want you to do that in their streams.
Yeah, that's not a Twitch exclusive thing, though.
It's not, but I'm just saying it's part of the Twitch experience, though. You know, like you see it all the time when you like go to a chat rules that says no self promo.
Yeah, you don't do that. You don't do self promo basically anywhere except your own social media. Basically, every subreddit has the rule against it. Obviously, it's just bad etiquette.
If you have like a friend, it's okay. Like if like you're friends with the streamer and you're just talking about stuff, not a big deal. But if you don't know them and you just come in, so like imagine you just like you're in a chat and someone comes in and they're just like, "You just got done with streaming. How are you?" Does that feel like self promo to you?
No, because that's just a normal conversation. Taking basically that and then making it definitively self promo. You come in, drop your link, and be like, if you need even more of this content, look at my stream next time I'm live. And then you're not.
All right,
you're not engaging the creator at all there.
That is for sure self promo. What you just said is for sure self promo, right? Dropping a link and telling people to come check you out.
Or you not editing your thing at all. If all you continue to talk about after being like, I got done with my stream, how are you? If every one of your comments relates to your stream or something, that's definitely self promo. Your first comment in and of itself, no.
You don't think that's self promo?
It's thin line, Terry. You're thin ice, buddy. You're skating on very thin ice with that. That's definitely not your best foot forward. But I wouldn't technically call it self promo.
See, this streamer was
maybe I'm a little more lenient than most.
This happened to some streamer. I saw some screenshots on X, and the moderator banned them because they considered it self promo. They're like, you can only say stuff like that if you're friends with the streamer. Like if you're like, if they like, it's your friend in their circle and they already know you stream. You know, they were like, this is some random guy coming in and saying that he just got done with a stream, made it seem like it was self promo apparently.
That to me,
And that guy got real butter about it.
Yeah, that's.
And you're of the opinion that isn't self promo, is what you're saying.
No, just with no other context at all to immediately go to ban and then flame the guy for self promo, negatively highlighting him like that. I'd get mad too. That's to make a spectacle of banning somebody for just that comment. That's turdly. That is a turd.
I don't know if I'd call it a spectacle. I think it turned into a spectacle because of his responses. Like they were like, "Oh my god, I dodged a bullet here," or something is what they said.
I don't know.
But these people, like the way they operate, I don't know, man. I'm just seeing the drama. I think it's funny. But me personally, I think it is self promo to like mention that you're a streamer. It's like you shouldn't do that in someone else's chat unless like they know you and stuff. I feel like me personally. Now I understand where you're coming from. It is lighthearted. It's not. It wasn't like it. But I don't think it was meant to self promo.
Yeah.
But to do it at all, like to say that you're a streamer in someone else's chat, especially like someone that has like probably way more viewers than you do. You know.
Okay.
It feels a little. It just feels a little wrong. I think in terms of etiquette, you just shouldn't mention stuff like that. Even though it's not really self promo, you just shouldn't mention it. You know what I mean? Because it gives off bad impressions.
I think if you have a problem with somebody mentioning it, that says more about you than the person who mentioned it.
I'm not saying it's a problem. I don't say I have a problem with it. I'm just saying I feel like
But you're saying they shouldn't do it, which
I wouldn't
is
ban-
in fact a problem.
No, I wouldn't ban them. I'm talking about etiquette, bro. I'm talking about manners and etiquette. You know, like
And so it's bad etiquette to be yourself.
But like you didn't have to say that.
Well, no one has to say anything. Period. So what I'm hearing is that no one should ever say anything ever, which I do like. If we can all agree as a planet to never say anything ever, and if somebody does say something, we beat them to death with hammers.
With hammers? Like I'll bring the nails.
No. Nails are not necessary. Yeah, hammer's plenty fine.
It's okay. It's gonna be like Russia. We're gonna have a bunch of baseball bats and no baseballs.
Now, see, baseball bats aren't hammers.
They're not. More like a club. Yeah, like I feel like you're misinterpreting me a bit. I don't think it's a problem. I just think in terms of etiquette, like I would never do that to somebody.
Oh.
Unless I knew them or something.
Ladies
Thank
and
you.
gentlemen, Seth Nacho.
Give me a gold star, everybody. Give me a gold star. I deserve it. Please.
That's. Yeah.
I will rest on my laurels now.
I
thought
never
that
understood that phrase, man.
Like I kind of agreed with the streamer there, but what?
Oh, you would. But, no, I never got the phrase resting on my laurels because, like, my first exposure to the idea of laurels were the, like, original crowns they would give the winners at the old school Greek Olympics.
Yeah.
So I'm like, but if I sit on my crown, if I sit on my leaf crown, I break it. And I smush it.
You don't literally sit on
If I rest on my laurels, I don't have laurels no more.
They're all
They
fucked
smushed.
up. They're all fucked up.
I never bothered looking into why they might. I'm sure it makes sense. Most common idioms like that do.
It's a metaphor, yeah. It's
But-
not literally resting on them.
It always rubbed me the wrong way because of that. Just a fun thought.
Imagine, if you will, a world where Doug Bennett goes to the Olympics and wins a medal of some kind.
Yeah.
And then for the rest of your life, you milk it.
Yeah, you're supposed to.
That is resting on your laurels.
Okay, I didn't need it explained to me. I just told you that I've basically gone out of my way to not look into the origin of it. I understand the concept. I understand what people are referring to. You've made me a worse person. I'm a cooler guy for just having accepted it and having my funny thought about it. And now you've made me even more of a shitty know-it-all. I'm trying to remove those qualities from myself. Fuck you. This guy stinks.
I literally am a bad influence, guys. You guys don't know it, but I'm a bad influence. I can't let things be. Ah!
God damn it.
Someone stop me. Someone. Come on, man.
You know what? You've just done. This is social fidgeting.
I'm trying to help with the listener, but social fidgeting is crazy. What? Were you the one that sent me the raccoon fidget toy?
I'm starting a war on fidget as a concept.
Oh, that's it. I saw it on your
It's
X.
prey behavior. Calm the fuck down. Sit still.
Yeah, humans, we have eyes that face forward. We're a
Allow
predator.
your thoughts to run wild, not your corporeal form. Have some discipline. It's not that hard. This has been a PSA.
That is a crazy
Stop
take.
fidgeting, freak.
Were you some kind of loser? Can't sit still? Like, what the hell? Oh my god, dude.
You want to talk about a real loser? We can talk about what Kanye West did this week.
Sure. I must say I had an update for us. We'll go into that next. So, Kanye West had a pretty interesting week this week. His World War III song snippet already dropped already. That was already done. But a new song snippet dropped. And the World War III one was already pretty crazy.
Well, that one at least had the quality of being good music.
Did it?
It was.
All I know is the one line.
Oh, damn! No, the production on that one was pretty solid. It was more of a melodic delivery as well. The melody line.
It was.
It was well put together. So that one at least had the redemption of like somebody. There was effort put into that music. However you feel about the content, which you should think it's funny because it was fucking hilarious. Now, this Cousins song, garbage production. Sounded like it was coming out of like the butthole of a toaster. The content matter of this song was not funny. It was just very off-putting. And then you get into the fact that the preamble that he posted above it was multiple paragraphs detailing, let's say, less than savory activities that he participated in with his cousin.
Yeah, when he was a young kid.
Legitimately disturbing, if true. And then just like bro, why would you even try this as an idea? This is bad even as a troll. Wouldn't be a good troll if it's true what you've done and said. Is this your first day on Earth? This is the kind of thing motherfuckers take to the grave.
Yeah, but I think there was like a quote from the song, like, I gave my cousin head.
Yeah, that's the hook of the song.
Yeah.
I gave my cousin head, gave my cousin head.
Yeah, dude.
But no, it's just stop alluding to it and just we'll go ahead and just say it because he said it. So I guess we can all say it. But
No, that's not how that works, Doug. That's not how that
okay,
works.
come on. Just because that's where I'd normally go.
That's not how that works, Doug. Just because he said it doesn't mean we can all say it.
In this case, we can't.
I don't know about that, Doug.
Because what he said was.
Are you
started
quoting
off-
him? You
Yeah.
can quote him.
Yeah.
I will allow that. I will allow that.
The situation he explained is it started off, tippy-toeing into like somewhat based off of the stories other people tell, somewhat relatable material, finding pornography that's stashed in the house of the adults in your life.
For sure. That I think everybody can relate to that.
Yeah. Where this stops being relatable and gets into, oh my god, dude, don't ever tell, you should not, this is the kind of thing you don't tell people territory, is he admits to reenacting parts of that pornography with his much younger than him cousin, like 6 years younger than him.
Oh wow, I didn't realize it was that
Yeah.
much younger.
Yeah. Kanye said...
But the porn in question was gay porn, right?
We don't know. We know that they found regular ass Playboys in his dad's house, and then he says the porn that we found in my mom's closet was different. And I mean that could mean anything.
It could mean anything.
It could mean anything.
I thought the quote was like to blank kissing. Like I thought that was a quote from the song. Maybe I'm wrong.
It could be. There's I feel fooled and duped. A good troll that came out of this was people reacting to it and posting their hot takes and being like, actually, I think the song's really good. The song's actually pretty good.
Really?
I was not going to listen to it based off of the tweet that came with the song. I was like, there's no fucking way.
Really?
I'm not listening. People were talking about it, and the buzz was like, what's crazy, he's brave for doing this. The song itself is actually pretty good. And, it's a hard thing to talk about, and blah, 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 blah.
Dude.
And I was like, it's people online, like, not people that I know personally, but, like, posters that, like, I trust their posting history. I'm like, I'll at least hear it out. No, the song sucks.
Yeah.
It's a bad song. Even ignoring the subject matter.
Yeah. And then to say he's brave, that's, like you said, that's the kind of shit you take to your grave.
Yeah.
We all have that kind of
There's-
stuff. We all have that kind of stuff. We take that shit
I guess
to
it's
the
a
grave.
hot take in the fucking therapy area where we're all gay about our retarded feelings. But there's just sometimes stuff you don't tell people.
There's just things you keep. There's just things you keep a secret.
Yeah.
But yeah, like
And so in the tweet, he doesn't specify what this other, more insidious kind of pornography. Internet sleuths have been like, well, actually, a pretty common porn genre is like abusing pregnant women. There's actually a lot of porn of that out around in the world. And I'm like,
okay, I don't think that's probably it, but
people made that connection because he's like, I think all of this, confusion and trauma that we inflicted upon each other led to his violent criminal history. Like, and as a teenager, his cousin went around killing pregnant women. That's what got him landed in jail for life. And part of Kanye's tweet was being like, I feel, partially responsible for creating this twisted individual.
okay.
So people are definitely,
Maybe there's more connection there than I thought.
people were definitely trying. Like, there's dots there. These aren't just dots that people made up.
Okay. But I do want to point out that there's a Boondocks episode, okay, with Riley and this guy Gangstalicious, and it's really funny because he's like, oh, he's gay now. That means I'm gay. Like that's how I feel about this whole situation. And then there's a part where he's like, Gangstalicious has a skirt on, or like Riley's got a skirt on and like a purse. Like, that's my man bag. If I carry things in that, like.
That's a good twist. Normally, that would be posed as like a falling apart or like this sucks or into like some other homophobic realm of radical acceptance of it.
You're right, it's just being like, no, I'm gay now.
It's a good comedic twist. I'll appreciate that.
Go back and watch that episode of Boondocks. That's hilarious.
And,
But
lifelong proponent of this idea. You're only gay if you're gay. The only thing that can make you gay is being gay.
it's being gay, yeah.
Yeah.
Very true. Your thoughts don't define you, your actions do. Right? That's very existentialist, right? Some Sartre type shit.
That would be the opposite of what I'm saying. It is the
But no,
thought-
I know. But I'm
the
talking about
thought that
Sartre. Yeah, I know. I'm going in a different place, brother.
No. There was a good 12-hour resurgence of gay fish jokes.
For sure.
People be like, no wonder he was so sensitive about that, because he got real life pissed off about it.
He did.
But yeah, man, God, what a loser. That guy stinks.
Yeah, and then the follow up to that is that he went on Twitch.
Lasted all of 7 minutes.
Immediately got banned.
Yeah. Fucking couldn't stop himself from throwing up the Sig Heil.
The fake Roman salute that what's his name came up with, the guy that worked for
Elon Musk.
no, the guy that worked for Mussolini came up with that. Well, I don't think he worked for him first, and then he worked for him. I watched the whole thing about it. The Roman salute thing was from this movie that he made. There's this whole fake shit, dude. Anyway, but yeah, Kanye got banned immediately, like 7 minutes after starting a Twitch stream. I don't think you're meant for that life, Kanye. I don't think you're meant to be on Twitch.
No.
Stick to X, brother.
Fucking Aiden Ross proved smarter than we all thought. He was at least smart enough not to have Kanye on his stream.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Only the real guys will have Kanye on their stream. You know, like Alex Jones.
Well, that's not a stream. That's basically TV.
Yeah.
Everything about the way he's set up InfoWars and whatever show is currently going on right now. I'm not sure if they even got the InfoWars brand name back or not. I think they were supposed to technically, but that's just TV on the internet. It's totally different than a stream.
True.
But
Is it not done live?
no, I don't think so.
Pre-recorded?
Well, I don't know. I really don't know.
I don't know.
All I know about
You're
Alex,
more of an expert on it than I am.
all I know about Alex Jones is that he's right about everything. Whether he's right today or whether it turns out in 20 years that he was right all along.
He's a broken clock, is what you're saying.
No, what I'm saying is time always proves Alex Jones right.
Which is a broken clock. If it says 3:15, it'll be right at 3:15.
Okay. In the Venn diagram world, if we're making Venn diagrams, then yeah, the broken clock analogy holds some Venn diagram space.
You can say everything you want to say, but you'll be right at least once a day or twice a day.
No, that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is he's correctly he has known the narrative ahead of time every time. He predicted on air on real television. He called 9/11 the summer before it happened, as an example. All the babbling about New World Order stuff, while not being the actions or the results of some organization that specifically calls itself the New World Order, he's called things down the line. The frogs being gay shit. It sounds outlandish, but it's true. The fucking pharmaceutical.
I don't think that was a prediction, though. I think that was a reaction statement. I don't think he predicted.
Yeah, well, but at the time, everyone was like, this is wrong, this is fake, this can't possibly be real. It turns out it very much was. Like, almost everything he says is correct. Whether people accept it as he says it, or they come to accept
Is Alex Jones the modern Nostradamus, dude?
after the... Well, you are missing what I'm saying. Everything he says is right.
Am I supposed to be? Am
he's
I
not
supposed
sa-
to?
he's
Am I
not
supposed to
saying-
not be missing it? Because I think it's
he's
the
not
point.
saying whatever he wants to. Okay,
That's the
this
point,
isn't a
bro.
broken clock thing. This isn't a Nostradamus thing. Where Nostradamus, fucking literally was getting high on the smell of his own urine from his poorly kept condition. He was on some alchemy shit. This guy was hallucinating.
Alex Jones goes down into the caves, dude. He sniffs the volcanic
He is not an
fumes,
oracle.
and he comes up with the shit, bro.
He is a well-connected journalist who successfully puts together the puzzle well before anybody even thinks about picking up the pieces.
Okay.
I digress.
I just love having you rant about Alex Jones.
But he's the best, dude. He can't be denied. We must defend Alex Jones at all costs.
Okay. Well,
And the shit they've done to that man is despicable.
the shit they've done is despicable.
You know what I learned recently about Alex Jones that's crazy? Even being a stalwart defender of him. That, like, the thing that people went after him for and said he did was denying that Sandy Hook even happened at any point. It turns out, and you can go back and watch the tapes on this, Alex Jones himself never once questioned whether or not Sandy Hook actually happened. He himself never did. And then but that's what they kept taking him to court for. That's what they kept trying to steal all the shit for.
Right.
A thing that he never did. And they took that much from him. That it's insane to me that we even live in a world where that is allowed to be done to somebody. Hey, here's something you never did. We're going to pin it on you, insist you did it, and make you pay for something that you never did. And we can't prove that you did because you never did it.
That's the whole thing, man. If like our whole justice system is about innocent until proven guilty, right? So like you're supposed to if one innocent man doesn't go to jail for something he didn't do, but like 5 guilty people also don't go to jail, then that's still okay. Is what some people would say.
Yeah. More like
the
an
innocent guy
injustice
didn't go.
system.
Okay. But you see what I'm saying? Anyway.
Yeah, the opposite of what's supposed to happen happened to him.
Yeah. Yeah, we should value the people's word and their innocence over assuming they're guilty. Yeah. You can't assume.
There wasn't even an assumption made. The decision was made. And they're like, and you're the guy we're hanging this on.
Yeah, silly. I got an update from a story we talked about a while back.
There we go.
There was that story we covered about the kid that got stabbed at the track meet,
Yeah, Austin Metcalf.
and the guy who stabbed him, his name was
Murdered to death by Carmelo Anthony.
Carmelo Anthony. That's right. That name makes me think of Casey Anthony for some reason.
I knew it sounded super familiar, and for me, it wasn't the Casey Anthony connection. There's a famous basketballer.
Named Carmelo
Named
Anthony.
Carmelo
That's that. So yeah, when someone asked me earlier, they're like, "You remember the Carmelo Anthony guy?" I was like, "No, I don't watch sports."
Yeah. Current tequila spokesperson as well. Saw some funny tweets where people were like, "Oh, so he stabs a kid and now he gets a brand deal."
Well,
This country's going to shit.
Well, actually, it's something kind of like that, which is kind of crazy. So you remember what we talked about? We talked about the dad's response and how he was a cuck, right? Like that's not cool.
Still a cuck, by the way.
How dare you forgive your son's murderer just straight up like that?
Loser.
So, and then, but what's even crazier is people are donating because of this.
Oh, yeah.
And they're not donating to the family that the kid got murdered. They're donating to the murderer's family.
Yeah. They've already used it to buy honestly, what could be reasonably called a mansion in a gated community.
And they bought
They
a
bought
new
a
Escalade.
$100,000 car.
Yeah, they went crazy with all this money because originally the bail was set like at like $1 million or something, and it went down a lot. So like
Yeah.
they had all this extra money.
And yet another activist judge, she dropped the bail to $250,000, so by more than half. And I think it was the kind of bond where it didn't have to be paid for release. So the kid got released for fucking free. Then they get all this fucking money and spend it immediately. This guy's legal representation, by the way, it's unclear to me whether or not he's even a lawyer, but what we do have is his representation's criminal history. Dude went to jail for almost shaking a baby to death.
Good lord.
Dude's being represented by a child abuser.
Good lord. Yeah, I did not know that one. That's
Yeah.
crazy. But yeah, like
Dominique Alexander, look him up.
it's crazy that people are donating to a murderer and that the murderer is receiving such favorable treatment. I know he's a kid, but like you don't just go commit murders. That's not. I said this on the last time. He should be tried as an adult for this.
Oh, for sure.
And like it's crazy that like the people are showing such favoritism towards him in this situation. Should we be donating to the family that lost a child? I mean, even then, I guess we don't really need to donate. Maybe for funeral costs, to help out the family. Like, I mean,
Yeah, I doubt that
in those hard times, you know.
I doubt that at that stage of family development, the thing that they've planned and saved for is one of their two sons who's about to go to college. Well, I guess they could use the college money for a funeral.
Yeah, that's like about the only thing. Yeah, right.
That fucking sucks.
Yeah, that's a terrible twist.
Also, you can. I'm very philosophically and very hypothetically, I am in favor of people giving money to whatever they want to for any reason.
Yeah, I mean,
So
I'm not.
ever going to tell anybody how to spend their money.
Yeah,
But I think it is an indictment on the current character of a whole sect of Americans that they would choose to donate money to a murderer and to reward murder.
yeah, that's very weird.
Yeah.
Not cool, honestly, in my opinion. But I mean, the family of Carmelo Anthony that isn't him probably needed help, you know. So I'm sure that the money is good and they're having their life's better now. But like the actual murderer, it's put in behind bars already. You know, like what the fuck?
Yeah.
Why do you even have bail? Do you get bail in a murder charge generally?
Yeah, I think bail is almost always an option, and the thing that keeps particularly egregious fucking defendants behind bars until and through their trial is usually the prohibitive cost. Like,
$250,000 is a lot of money.
yeah, so especially depending on the payment scheme for it as well, that can still keep a lot of people in. But I mean, we're gonna have this really leads into a bigger discussion about the justice system and where we've landed with how it actually functions in this country, right? I mean, you have entire states that have essentially deemed it policy to never hold anybody ever for any reason. You see that a lot in California. Like, that's just a perpetual in out for a lot of guys. A lot of guys will do something, cops will have them dead to rights, but because of the judicial philosophies of California specifically.
Yeah.
They'll be right back out on the street in the morning. Will they ever see any kind of like long-term stay or any kind of punishment for their continued history of repeat offenses? Another example, New York City. We talked about the Daniel Penny case, right? Jordan,
Really?
yeah, Jordan Neely, I believe, is the guy's name who died. Well, NYPD, they have a list of like their top 50 repeat offenders, frequent flyers. I think I don't know if they had a jokey name like that for it or not. But this Jordan Neely guy was essentially willingly living on the streets, perpetually recommitting crimes. They had arrested him over 20 times. He had a rap sheet long enough to warrant a life behind bars. And policy in NYC, just keep sending him out there. Keep sending him out there. So, like, he had already hurt women on the subway before, was threatening to kill a woman before Daniel Penny stepped in.
Oh, yeah, I remember this guy.
Saved a life that day.
Yeah.
And how was Daniel Penny rewarded with way too much incarceration for one? He was held for a long time waiting trial. And then just like the complete slander of his public name. Like, he did a good Samaritan act.
Yeah.
Like, stopped a woman from getting killed. And apparently that makes him a fucking...
Makes you a bad guy.
Yeah.
For stopping the repeat offender guy that is not able to go to jail, but you go to jail. This is starting to sound kind of like the UK.
Yeah, I mean, and in fact of the matter is, we are headed in the same direction that the UK is headed. It depends on certain proclivities, right? The UK ended up where they were at because they were afraid to do anything about actual problems for seeming racist or basically for seeming racist,
Like anti-immigrant.
yeah, not even anti-immigrant, just racist. What happened over there is crazy socially. They've taken a social dynamic that never really existed in that country to the degree it did here. They took the whole white guilt, essentially, history of slavery, and applied that social theory to life in the UK, where it did not have at all the same analogs.
No.
Not at all.
No.
And then it's informed it the way that they've approached all race relations, and it's like the end point of the terminally liberal ideology. And when I'm talking about liberal, I'm mostly talking about American Democrats, the fucking turbo libtard way of viewing the world, where it's like anything a white person does to a not white person is evil, KKK, Klansman, racist. It's saying a black person did something bad is basically lynching them. Is what the ideology boils down to.
Right.
Yeah. And a lot of people aren't willing to have the conversation of deconstructing that, being like,
Yeah, when that ideology becomes your government.
yeah. I mean, it has become our government. It's become like California, NYC, Minnesota is pretty bad. It doesn't get talked about that much. A lot of that area, Michigan, is getting kind of dicey with it. I mean, these places are falling into that same trap. It's like, people are so scared of being called racist. It's such a big boogeyman that they're not even willing to begin dismantling the idea of, like, it doesn't matter at all who's doing the wrongdoing, and it really doesn't matter who's enforcing the law. What is more important than the constituent individuals and their ethnic identity is that law and order is maintained.
Law and order is maintained. Yeah, I agree with that.
And really what it's going to take to change and put ourselves back on the right path is some people are going to have to grow a bit of a thick skin and be okay with being called a racist and just do the right thing anyway.
Yeah, because it's only these like loud mouths on social media that are going to accuse you anyway. No sane person is going to see you put a murderer behind bars and say you're racist.
Well, I mean, look at all the
sane person.
Hey, look at. I'll tell you this. It's going to make so much more sense to you that Carmelo Anthony has been getting donated all this money, because those are the true believers of any time a black person is prosecuted, racism is happening. The people who deeply, truly believe that's the kind of person that's sending Carmelo Anthony money.
That's what I think.
Yeah.
Probably.
And it's a lot of money, which means it's a lot of people who think that way. It's bad. It's bad for them.
Do you think there's any like big time donators, like people that have a lot of money that think that way?
It depends on what you mean by big time. I don't think there's probably been. Well, yeah. I don't think they're not spending their money in that way. They're spending their money on like actual politicians and judges and stuff like that. Big money's going to big money places. Small dollar donations are going to smaller scale
So
stuff.
this was a lot of people sending like small donations, I believe, right?
And
I think they raised over $1 million.
that wouldn't surprise me. The last time I checked in on the number, the last time I was made aware of it, it was over 500K, which is still too much.
Yeah, I might be wrong. I don't know, but that's what I heard. Over $1 million. I was like, damn.
But yeah, I mean, it sounds trite because usually the kind of person this statement would come from is overblowing it. But it really is, like when I attribute this to Democrats, American Democrats, that is by and large what the average American Democrat believes. Like it's Democrat ideology to a T. Look at the way they run their party. In fact, recently, if you look, they were reorganizing their party in preparation for 2028 recently. We didn't cover this story at all. But when
they need to.
When they were trying to put in a new chair, right? Who's the new chair of the DNC? Who's going to help us pivot out of this horrendous loss that we just had? Like all presidential elections, it was actually fairly close, but it was pretty bad for the fucking Dems.
Yeah, they did not expect that.
And the parade of people that came up there, like one for one, except for our old friend David Hogg. I don't know if you remember this guy at all, but he's insidious left-wing grifter.
I mean, I know Bernie did a bunch of campaigning.
Yeah, he made
for some reason.
He made his name. David Hogg made his name off the back of the Parkland shooting in Florida. If you remember that,
I do remember that.
And you get into his.
I remember all the kids from that made a name.
Yes, well, he's the only one that's had any staying power. Really.
He was a kid in that shooting.
And someday, if anybody finds this interesting, or maybe I just get the bug in my ass to finally do it, the actual truth behind the David Hogg and whether he even had any rights to talk about Parkland is crazy. But he was there. He was one of these people who would put in his name for the ring for the chair. And he didn't really talk about policy too much, but he was the only one that was willing to say that there was any problems. And then I shit you not, the entire rest of the people who came up and said, "Hey, I'm so-and-so. This is me trying to be chair of the DNC." None of them had anything to say except for, "This is my identity. That's why I should be the chair."
Yeah.
It was, and to be fair, basically all these kinds of identity, name and identity.
Yeah, whatever, right?
Yeah, there was
non-binary.
There was a non-binary. It was like,
Yeah.
I'm not. It's time for a non-binary, and I'm non-binary. So
this goes back to the whole first female president, the joke.
yeah, we don't know.
We don't need this, man. We need someone that can actually lead, or like, it's like, and this is the thing. Is I say we. It's not like I don't know if I'm part of the Democrat Party or not. Apparently, I am. But they need to not be worried about that. They need to be worried about leadership and like a message and all that, right? At least David Hogg had something substantive to say.
Yeah.
Your identity alone does not make a leader.
So, yeah, I don't know how to get out of this particular tangent.
Yeah, right.
It's clearly something I feel pretty passionate about, but
well, hopefully they can get their shit together, and hopefully 2028 they put up more of a fight. Because I don't know what it's going to look like in 2028, what the candidates and that race is going to be like. Because Trump can't do it again. He might try to find a way to make himself the permanent
he's
dictator.
trying. He's already got the Trump 28 hats for sale.
Which makes no sense. You can't run again, buddy.
You can't serve you can't serve more than 2 consecutive terms. He hasn't served 2 consecutive terms yet.
Oh, brother, this guy stinks.
I guarantee you that's going to be the
angle they go for. I just hope that they don't try to turn him into the official dictator of the U.S.
I mean, maybe that's what we need, man.
It's annoying having the media like just constantly nitpick him. Like, they didn't do this to Biden, but they nitpicked the shit out of Trump, and it's just like, I'm tired of seeing it, man.
Well,
And we got 4 years of it, so let's enjoy it for the 4 years, I guess. We'll be here, but then after that, maybe we can move on to something new.
Well, I'll tell you this, man. I like that, actually. I do like the sort of more nitpicky thing. You're right, we didn't have it for Biden. We also didn't have it for Obama.
Of course not. We didn't have it for anybody until Trump.
And I'll tell you what.
It was never this bad.
Yeah. It does get a little overbearing in the sense that it is always negative and often it's simply false. It's not as much false this time around. There's a lot of falsehood in the 2016 term. But I like it because, unlike any other period of my life, it's people actively caring and being invested in their country instead of just being completely 100% off the rails selfish, completely checked out. I was weird for paying a little too much attention to it in the Obama years because I was still a kid then.
Well,
But
I feel like history repeats itself, and I know we don't. People probably don't realize it, but like I watched a video about like darkest days of every president, and there were some things in there that I was just like, yeah, this shit is happening now. The same shit from like however many years ago. Like, so history repeats itself, man. This is nothing new. This is nothing new that we're going through. And like, for instance, the best president to ever do it, George Washington, the first.
True.
He had the Whiskey Rebellion. He was the only president to ever lead troops in the field. The only president to ever do that. He took troops into the field to stop that Whiskey Rebellion because they were doing what the American Revolution did. They were rebelling against the tax or some shit. Like, and he was like, no. So I mean, just like we go through it all the time, bro. There's other presidents after that with other shit, but like, you get what I'm saying, though.
Yeah.
Like, this is nothing new, like the people reacting and acting in these mob mentalities and whatever, but I just don't like how it just gets tiring to hear the same shit all the time, That's where I'm coming from. I get what you're saying, though. It is nice that people are invested in politics, because that way people actually give a shit about what's happening in this country.
Yeah, it was particularly crazy that the Biden break, watching people that like, what really made me sick to my stomach and realize that a lot of people simply have no conviction or care.
They're fake
at all. Watching people that had been heavily invested in to a respectable degree, like actually knowing what they're talking about, blah blah. As soon as Biden won, they acted like they didn't know anything about politics. They took it as an excuse to completely check out. And like, you're the worst kind of person, for real.
Fake.
But that's just me. I think you should care about your country. I think you should.
Yeah, what an opinion. What a fucking take to have. Dude, how dare you?
Yeah, apparently.
When we have a leader we can trust, we can just go into autopilot mode, bro.
That's the thing.
But when it's a leader we can't trust, we gotta.
Anyway, brother.
Yeah, you want to hear something crazy?
Sure. If we got time.
People were flaming this guy on Twitter. I don't know on X, and I don't know his name, but he's the guy. I think he married Riley Reid, and they have a kid together.
Oh, yeah.
People are flaming him because he got a porn star pregnant.
This isn't me pulling it up. It's just the Talmud is trending right now. I want to see.
Okay, why'd you even bring that up?
Because you leaned over and started looking like I was about to pull up some of these tweets. I had to tell you, no. And because the immediate follow-up would be like, well, why am I not to look at this?
Well, I just realized we have to go quick here.
Yeah. No. I mean, it's fucking dumb to care that much about what someone's doing with it. It is a little laughable.
Like, we had a great laugh about iDubbbz back in the day and him at the Nissa, the OnlyFans model.
Yeah. It's really just what...
But like Riley Reid deserves a normal life, right?
I don't know, does she?
I mean, does she? I feel like she deserves some sort of like small happiness in her life. You know, like if she wants to start a family, she should be able to, right?
Sure, but does them deserving their happiness, does that somehow preclude them from anybody having an opinion about
No,
it?
no. That's okay. I'm not saying. Yeah, I'm just saying that. You know, she should be able to do what she wants, and then we should be able to say what we want, right?
Exactly.
I don't know what I want to say about it, but I mean,
I don't know.
I don't really have an opinion on the matter. I think, fuck it. It's just baby.
Yeah, they're people I don't want to think about, and they're gonna live and do what they want to do, whatever I feel about it. Now, is that a choice I'd make? No. Is it?
Would you marry a porn star?
Is that a choice? No.
Exactly.
No. Is it a choice that I would tell my friends?
But what if she was your favorite porn star?
Bro.
Okay. Okay. Are there porn stars that you'd want to get with? You know what I'm saying? But like, you wouldn't want to have a family with them.
Well, I mean, yeah. It's like, the Tower of Terror is a great ride. Do I want to live inside it? No. Okay.
What if you could though? And like, I think there are some Disney fans that would really want to live inside of there.
And I feel the same way about Mr. Husband as I do about those Disney fans.
Now it's all coming full circle.
It's not a choice that I would make, and if I was pressed to comment on the quality of that choice, I'd say it's a bad one. And if it was someone I knew personally, I'd be like, you should really think about that.
Like whoever marries Mia Khalifa, dude.
Bro. Yeah. But, at the end, I'm not condemning them.
Yeah. I'm just live your life, whatever.
Only God can judge.
But I can see your wife's breasts whenever I want to, sir.
Where?
Well,
She's on the itty bitty titty committee, brother.
Oh, true.
Breasts on Riley Reid, where?
Also, I can see your wife dropping the N-bomb on a song whenever I want.
Okay, see, now I'm in. I'm in all the way. Very funny move, Riley Reid. We love that move.
And she married a white guy. That's a white guy, dude. And he's got blonde hair and everything.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah, I mean, you buy the ticket, take the ride. That's what you signed up for. You married someone who's been publicly slutted out, for lack of a better term. I can't think of another one right now. Like one of the most famous.
I mean, we respect sex workers.
Yeah,
but like,
buy the ticket, take the ride. It's going to come with the territory. She's a public figure. That's never going away. The internet's forever, bud. Like,
internet's forever.
This
day and age.
I don't think if you're making that choice, I think you probably have already come to terms with whatever is going to hypothetically come your way.
You've definitely already come, and you're about to come to this parting shot.
Just part it, brother. Ooh-wee.
All right. Well, friends, family, countrymen, lend me your eyeballs at twitch.tv/step_nacho411 for Monday, Tuesday streams. Besides that, fun fact, I'm playing in a little tournament today, so that'll be fun for the game I played, Dead by Daylight. And then also, I have a little fun news story for you I didn't get to mention before this, but there was a dirty rain in New England this past week. It turns out a storm system had picked up dust in New Mexico and rained it down in New England. So, no, it's nothing to be worried about. It's just dirt. But it is kind of gross and weird. But don't worry, it's just a weird phenomena.
Absolutely.
It's like when I think it rained frogs at some point in the past because literally the water picked it up and floating it down. So, not an unknown thing.
But yeah, there's all kinds of rain out there. But I don't know. If the rain's too crazy, it usually means something.
Well, I mean, apparently this one picked up dust out of New Mexico and brought it to New England. So
keep your eyes on the forecast.
Now you're living in our world, buddy. Keep your eyes on the forecast, yeah.
Okay, if it's blood, consider who you have control over. Maybe they need to be released. That's all I'm saying.
It's a blood sacrifice.
I'm alluding to the biblical plagues, brother.
Dumb.
Frogs and blood and locusts, oh my. Anyway, over here, you already know.
We just got done with that season, bro.
It's your
Easter
boy,
just happened.
Doug B. Bennett. Yeah, and that's all you need to know about that, smarty pants. In terms of a parting shot, signing homework this week. Professor Doug wants you to go on YouTube.com and watch the movie Empire of Dust. I think that'll help you. It'll open up a whole window to a bit of the world, to the realities of the world, to some realities of the world that you might not have ever considered. It'll make you smarter and more world-wise, literally. So check out Empire of Dust on YouTube.com.
I'll be checking it out.
But yeah, man, they're both dirt-related facts. That's crazy.
That is kind of crazy.
What a pair of shots to part. And
Yeah.
a part shot in a pear tree or some shit.
Let's rock and roll.
It's not going anywhere. Get a load of this guy.
I found out that the slang term, like "whose man's is this," is the same thing. Like that's the white guy equivalent is "get a load of this guy."
At least according to, I know that creator specifically who goes around doing that. What are the best series? Bonus Shot. The guy who asked what's the white guy equivalent of common black phrase. I don't know how to help you look that one up, but
Yeah.
I co-signed that series. That's a good series.
It's a good series. It was funny.
Yeah. If you're white, you can learn it in reverse. And once they figure it out, you'd be like, oh, that's what they're talking about, so to speak. So, with that being said, you can do any of what we've suggested or none of it, but you gotta do what you always do, which is carry water, chop wood, and most importantly,
Xiao Hong Shu.
But I'm still king.